When it comes to traditional dive watches, it's very, very easy to get bored. And listen here, guys, I am one of the first people you will hear complain about trends that are overplayed. All right. I've screamed from the rooftops against integrated bracelet watches. I am pretty against like traditional 3 o'clock divers, but when I unboxed this UBIQ dual diver, I was very pleasantly surprised, and the more I played with it, the more I realized it's the small details of this somewhat conventional dive watch that really set this apart. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. It is 2:45 p.m. Let's get down to business. Now guys, this episode is brought to you by the Time Teller Shop, my own store. We just did a restock, the first restock of the month, and we have some incredible watches. We even got this incredibly rare dual-time Movado businessman watch. So traditionally, businessmen would have to keep track of 2 different time zones, and before, GMT complications were sophisticated enough to have in everyday watches, they would literally put 2 movements in a watch. So this Movado dual time has 2 17 jewel hand wound movements in it, and it is very, very awesome, and I'm so happy that I could have it at the shop and share it with you, so check it out. All right, jumping into the specs of this UBIQ dual, we have a 39mm diameter case, a 47mm lug to lug, a 20mm lug width, and it is 11.5mm thick, or should I say thin. This is very, very wearable. We're going to be talking about that a whole lot in a moment. The case and bracelet are 316L stainless steel. That's fairly standard. You are getting a sapphire crystal on top, and on the back is a screw down case back with some engraving there. You get the UBIQ signage, Dual Series 1 automatic. This bracelet is actually quite good, very, very mobile, solid end links with quick release spring bars and a milled clasp. And one thing I really like, it's not going to be on the pros and cons, but I'll just mention it here, is that this is a very nicely tapered bracelet from 20mm up top down to 16 towards the clasp. Very, very nice, very tasteful, and very wearable. You are getting C1 and BGW9 lume. It's actually pretty good. And you're getting a very smooth sweep from a premium 9000 series Miyota. This is a 9015, so you are getting like a 42-hour power reserve and a 28,800 VPH sweep. And this is a diver, so you are getting a threaded crown with a 200-meter water resistance rating. So now that we're familiar with the watch in regards to the specifications, which are actually quite good when you compare it to the just under $650 price tag, let's go over the pros and cons and really see what makes this watch special. The first thing I'd like to bring up would be the dimensions. This is incredibly wearable, and for the way I like watches to fit, I think it's a very versatile size. Just within that sweet spot right below 40mm. Now I know some people will not even consider a 40mm watch, and we're going to talk about that in the cons, but I think, again, for the way I prefer watches to fit, this is actually quite good. Another thing, when we get up close, I really want to share with you the sides of the case, okay? We all talk about dual finishing in this world of watch reviewing, and that's all well and good. But this watch actually has a very unique added depth coming from these relief cuts on the side of the case that just maximize the look and presentation of the dual finishing. It's really sharp, really sleek, and then you get some added sleekness from the silhouette that is, helped by having no crown guards. So the lack of crown guards really make this watch that much more kind of old school and sleek, but the other details make it more futuristic. We'll talk about that in a second. It's incredibly dynamic, okay? Everything from the relief cuts, from the shape of the markers, to the shape of the date window, to the handset used, to the colors and markings on the timing bezel. It's just not a regular watch. So somehow they found a way to make an otherwise conventional diver pretty unconventional, which is actually very refreshing. because they didn't have to do what everyone else does, which is just give it an integrated bracelet. So as excited as I am about this watch, it's not perfect, so we gotta jump into the cons. I know, dun dun dun. First con is actually kind of going back to the pros, which is those relief cuts. They look so cool, and they are so sleek and so sharp, but in this case, they are literally sharp. That's right, you can catch your fingers on it, and like you could actually potentially cut yourself on these. They are that sharp and that pronounced. So that is something that is, although it looks really cool, it's a little bit off-putting when you are handling this watch and you're not really expecting it. Like it catches your finger a little bit. Now the next con is I would have preferred a color-matched date wheel. Now, the interesting thing is they kind of get away with it because it has very unique indexes, and the border of the indexes almost are the same shape as the date window, which again, the wheel is white. So it kind of, I guess you could say, oh, well, it kind of flows with the overall indexes, but still, I think I would have preferred a color matched date wheel. And the final con is something I complain about with almost every watch nowadays. You need drilled lugs, and I get it. They're giving you quick release spring bars, but drilled lugs just add to the wearability and functionality. Just do it. So overall, when it comes to conventional 3 o'clock divers, this is kind of the best case scenario when you want something a little bit different. The specs, the presentation, the price, it's all more than reasonable in my opinion, and yeah, I'm very happy I learned about this watch, so special thanks to them for sending this over to me. I'm going to go ahead and send this out to the next reviewer. Alright guys, check out this watch. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, and let me know what you think. I will catch you on the next one. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.